Welcome to Botanical Biographies. Today we sit quietly with an object so common it is often invisible, the potato. While history is usually written by the victors, the architects of our modern world are often found in the soil. To understand the potato, we must look back 10,000 years. We go back to a time before the first pyramid was built, to the rugged, oxygen-thin altitudes of the South American Andes. In the high-altitude cradle around Lake Titicaca, the ancestors of the Aymara and Quechua people encountered a scrubby, flowering plant. At the time, the potato was far from a delicacy. These wild ancestors were small, gnarled, and bitter. They contained high levels of glycoalkaloids, natural toxins designed to protect the plant from being eaten by mammals. Yet through patient observation, ancient foragers realized that these tubers were a concentrated source of energy if the toxins could be managed. Domestication was a process of millennia. Andean farmers began a slow, deliberate form of artificial selection. They saved and replanted only the tubers that were slightly less bitter and slightly more productive. Over time, they diversified the species into a staggering array of thousands of varieties. Ancient farmers grew potatoes shaped like fingers, some deep purple, others bright red or golden. This biodiversity was a form of biological insurance. If a frost killed one variety, another would survive. The Andes offered one of the most challenging agricultural environments on Earth. To master the potato, the Inca and their predecessors engineered the landscape. They carved massive stone terraces into the mountain faces, creating flat land where there was none. These terraces acted like thermal sponges, absorbing heat from the sun during the day. The stones radiated heat back to the plants during the freezing Andean nights. Beyond cultivation, the Andean people invented the world's first freeze-drying process. They created Chuño by spreading potatoes out to freeze in the night air, then treading on them the next day to squeeze out moisture. This cycle was repeated until the potato was a hard, shelf-stable nugget. Chuño could be stored for over a decade without spoiling. This food security allowed the Inca Empire to maintain a vast bureaucracy and an army that could march across the continent. In the 1530s, the Spanish conquistadors arrived in search of gold and silver. When they first saw the potato, they were profoundly unimpressed. Their European palates were accustomed to bread made from grain. They viewed the potato as a primitive food, suitable only for the indigenous population. However, they soon noticed that sailors who ate potatoes on the long voyage back to Spain did not succumb to scurvy. The potato was quietly smuggled across the Atlantic as a practical, if unloved, ship's ration. When the potato first landed in Europe, it was met with deep suspicion. Because it belonged to the Solanaceae family, the same family as the deadly nightshade, many believed it was poisonous. Others were suspicious because it was not mentioned in the Bible. In some regions of France and Italy, it was even rumored to cause leprosy. For nearly 200 years, the potato was relegated to botanical gardens as a curiosity or used only as feed for pigs and prisoners. The shift from pig food to people food required the intervention of desperate kings and clever thinkers who saw its potential. In Prussia, Frederick the Great realized that potatoes could protect his people from grain famines caused by weather or war. In 1756, he issued the Potato Decree, ordering his subjects to plant the tuber. To overcome their resistance, he planted a royal field of potatoes. He guarded the field with soldiers. The peasants, assuming that anything guarded by the military must be incredibly valuable, began stealing the plants to grow in their own gardens. In France, a pharmacist named Antoine-Augustin Parmentier became the potato's greatest champion. Having been fed a diet of potatoes while a prisoner of war, Parmentier saw their potential to end hunger. He famously hosted lavish dinners where every dish featured the potato. He even convinced Queen Marie Antoinette to wear potato blossoms in her hair. By making the potato fashionable among the aristocracy, he slowly eroded the stigma among the lower classes. By the mid-19th century, the potato had fundamentally altered the demographics of the Western world. It produced more calories per acre than any other crop. A small plot of land could suddenly support a large family. In Ireland, the population exploded as the potato became the primary source of nutrition for the poor. The tuber was so efficient that it essentially fueled the labor force of the Industrial Revolution. It provided the energy for the workers who built the modern world. However, this success was built on a dangerous foundation of monoculture. In Ireland, almost everyone grew a single variety called the lumper. When the water mold arrived in 1845, it found an endless supply of hosts. The resulting Great Famine led to the death of 1 million people and forced millions more to emigrate to America. This tragedy underscored a lesson from the ancient Andes. that diversity is the only true defense against catastrophe. As we moved into the 20th century, the potato moved to the factory. The 1950s saw the rise of the frozen French fry and the potato chip, turning a whole food into a global commodity. Today, the potato is the world's fourth most important food crop, grown in over 100 countries. It has adapted to the deserts of Egypt and the plains of China. The potato continues its mission to provide cheap, dense energy to a growing global population. The journey of the potato is far from over. Today, scientists are looking to the potato as a potential crop for space colonization in the coming decade. Its ability to grow in confined spaces and produce high yields makes it a prime candidate for future missions to Mars. From the thin air of the Andes to the vacuum of space, the potato remains our silent subterranean partner. It is a humble root that quite literally changed the face of the earth. As you hold a simple potato in your hand, remember the 10,000 years of history hidden beneath its skin. Remember the mountain terraces and the royal decrees. This has been another installment of Botanical Biographies. We hope this journey through the soil has brought a moment of calm to your day. Thank you for listening, and may your own roots be as resilient as the humble potato.